Hi friends, welcome. And today we're talking about how I lost 6 pounds in 2.5 weeks and kept it off. What's even better is on this tailored diet, I wasn't even hungry. And let me tell you, that is a miracle for me. Hi, this is Lynn and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about beauty, wellness, and lifestyle for women over 50 and 60 and up. As I went through menopause and the years have marched by, I'm 68 now, it's gotten harder and harder to watch my weight. And I kept looking for diets that would help me to lose those extra pounds. I've always been good at watching it because I hate dieting. I'm sure most of us hate dieting. It's just a pain. I like to eat and I like to keep my slim figure. I'm 5'5" with a very slight build and don't weigh much. So if I put on 5 or 10 pounds, it looks like a lot on me, and it tends to go all on my bum or around my tummy, which is very unsightly. I really don't want to look like a pear. And I did have a vacation coming up to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was going to spend a day at the spa, which means I'd be in a bathing suit, and I really need to shed those 6 pounds I put on during the holiday. This was during the very beginning of April, when it was about 80 degrees down in Scottsdale and only about 50 in Oregon. So I'd been used to hiding my little few extra pounds in my jeans and heavier sweaters. So I went back on the diet that's always worked for me once I figured it out several years ago. Now remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I'm just a 68-year-old woman that is sharing what has worked for me. And I have a pretty slow metabolism at this age, or have had a really slow metabolism. But when I go onto this diet, it turns me into a fat burning machine, so it's really exciting. And again, it worked like it has in the past, so I wanted to share this with you. So I'll give you complete details of how this diet works exactly and share the food plan with you. And this is one I learned about from Dr. Eric Westman with Duke University. He worked with more than 5,000 patients and discovered that even eating at McDonald's or any other fast food chain, if you stick with the foods listed on this diet, you'll still lose weight. He had many patients that did on this diet and helped them get rid of or reduce their problems with diabetes, reduce their insulin and other medications, and also been able to help them with lowering their blood pressure and a lot of other health-oriented things that many of us want to do. So let's dive into it. So my history is that normally ate a lot of carbs, and when I got hungry, I would get what I called the DTs. And the DTs would make me feel really shaky and furiously hungry where I had to eat something. But once I started working with Dr. Westman's diet, it was amazing how I didn't feel hungry. And it's a special version of, some people would call a keto diet. He calls it a low-carb diet, and again, has proven it to be very, very healthy. Worked with a lot of people to improve their health and lose vast amount of weight. And considering I wasn't hungry, I took advantage of autophagy. And autophagy helps you when you go longer without a meal. It helps you burn up the extra fat and also burn up and reduce the loose skin on your body, which is always welcome because at this age, I do have quite a bit of loose skin forming that I'm working on, especially right now on my face and neck. And what I've done on the diet is I've gone to like 10 a.m. every day and just had a cup of coffee then with 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream in it to help stave off my hunger. And then I would go to like 1 or 2 o'clock to have lunch, and then usually around 6:30 to 7 to have dinner. So now let's get into exactly what Dr. Westman's diet is that helps you lose weight quite quickly and go without hunger. And you can see that the diet is published by Medicine Clinic at Duke University Medical Center, and it was also featured in a book, Why We Get Fat by Gary Taubes. It's called the No Sugar, No Starch Diet. So it's focused on providing your body with the nutrition it needs while eliminating foods that your body does not require, namely nutritionally empty carbs. For most effective weight loss, you will need to keep the total number of carbs, or not net, of carbohydrate grams to fewer than 20 grams per day. So Stick with the foods and beverages on this handout. It's really easy because the handout is super simple. If the food is packaged, check the label and make sure that the carb count is 1 to 2 grams in total or less for meat and dairy products, 5 grams or less for vegetables. So for meat, it includes beef, pork, ham, bacon, lamb, veal, and other meats, including sausage, pepperoni, and hot dogs. So you check the label for the carbohydrate count should be about 1 gram per serving. Poultry can include chicken, turkey, duck, or other fowl. Fish and shellfish include any fish, which could be tuna, salmon, catfish, bass, trout, shrimp, scallops, crab, and lobster. They prefer no farm seafood due to the toxins. And eggs, they say whole eggs are permitted without restriction. And they said you absolutely don't need to avoid the fat that comes in any of these foods whatsoever. You'll find that you burn it. He said you don't need to limit the quantities, just stop eating once you're full. Dr. Westman does say in some of his videos that you should try to limit any extra fat, like don't add butter or cheese unless it's part of the recipe. Don't snack on those kind of things if you can avoid it, because the more fat you intake as an extra item, like whipping cream or butter. I tend to eat blocks of cheese for snacks, but it doesn't seem to put weight on me when I'm on this diet. It will slow it down regarding weight loss. So foods that must be eaten every day include salad greens, 2 cups a day. For example, arugula, bok choy cabbage, could be greens of all varieties, including beet, collard, mustard, and turnip greens, kale and lettuce, parsley, spinach. He wants you to eat a cup of vegetables a day, which can include artichokes, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, celery, cucumber, eggplant, green beans, tomatoes, and zucchini, which I love both of those. And he also recommends that you have 2 cups of bouillon a day because when you're on this diet, your body tends to dump quite a bit of salt. So it helps you feel less hungry if you're eating those 2 cups of bouillon. And I usually have 1 cup with lunch and maybe 1 cup with dinner or 1 cup with a snack. So foods allowed in limited quantities include cheese, up to 4 ounces a day. And he gives a list of those, like hard-aged cheeses, like Swiss and cheddar. You can also eat brie, which I love. And Gruyere, I also love. Cream cheeses, goat cheeses. And he wants you to avoid processed cheeses such as Velveeta. Make sure the carb count should be less than 1 gram per serving. Again, cream you can have up to 4 tablespoons a day, including heavy, light, or sour cream. Yum! I love whipping cream in my coffee. And then mayonnaise you can have up to 4 tablespoons a day. That would be a lot for me, but on this diet, if you're hungry, you can include that in your meals. You can have olives up to 6 a day and avocado up to half of a fruit a day. So olives, I do usually eat my 6 a day because I love olives. Lemon juice and lime juice, you can have up to 4 teaspoonfuls a day. And snacks, you can have pork rinds. That's not my thing, but I know a lot of people love pork rinds. Pepperoni slices, I've had those before as a snack. Ham, beef, turkey, and other meat roll-ups, deviled eggs, yum. The primary diet restrictions include carbs. So on this diet, you don't want to include any sugars or starches. The only carbs included are the nutritionally dense vegetables listed. Sugars are simple carbohydrates, and avoid these kinds of foods like honey, maple syrup, corn syrup. Milk contains lactose. You want to stay away from flavored yogurts. Starches are complex carbohydrates, so avoid these kinds of foods: grains, rice, cereals, flour, cornstarch, breads, pastas. Tell you, once you get used to it, you don't even miss them. I haven't eaten breads or pastas or anything like that in many years now. What fat and oils you can have. Fat and oils, even butter, are allowed on this diet, and he recommends olive oil and peanut oil also. He wants you to avoid margarine and hydrogenated oils. For salad dressing, the ideal is a homemade oil and vinegar dressing with lime juice and spices. He says blue cheese, ranch, Caesar, and Italian are also acceptable if the label says 1 to 2 grams. I make my own Caesar dressing, and it has no sugar in it at all. It's so delicious. I actually put some anchovies in it too, so I know mine is safe. And fats in general are important to include because they taste good and they keep you full. all of us, pretty much all of us in my age group, lived through those years of low-fat diets, and it made me miserable. It made me feel really terrible. And I know my sister gained so much weight. She gained like 35 or 40 pounds on the low-fat diet, and once she switched to a diet like this, the 35 pounds came off and they haven't come back on. She's kept those 35 pounds off now for about 6 years. It's really impressive. You're therefore permitted to eat the fat or skin that's served with meat or poultry, but no breading is to be included. I'd love to hear about your thoughts on this diet. I'd love to hear about your experience. I tell you, the idea of not feeling hungry is so fantastic. And it can be frustrating though. It took me like 4 or 5 days for the weight to start coming off again this time, and you do hit plateaus. I would get on the scale. Normally I get on the scale once a week because it's too stressful otherwise to get on it more often than that. But when I'm on a diet like this, and I had a deadline for my vacation, I would get on the scale every day. And it's really frustrating when you reach a plateau. And for me, I've seen that I'd reach a plateau, my weight would stay the same for like 3 days, and the 4th day, all of a sudden I'd lose 2 pounds or even 3 pounds. It was crazy. It was so interesting. So make sure and look in the description below. I'll add a link there for this food list so that you can pull it up on your browser and download it if you want to be able to refer to it at your leisure, and also return to this video so you can hear about my experience with this diet. I'd love to hear about your weight loss tips and challenges in the comments below. It'd be great to share it with me and with other people that watch this channel. And it was great fun spending time with you today, and I so very much appreciate it. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this one. Again, this is Lynn sharing beauty, wellness, and lifestyle for women over 50. Now make sure and join me in the next video.